Hey folks, you're watching Cadroll Hunter, and today I got a bag of goodies here. There's some silver and there's some oldies. Let's get into them. Hey everybody, this is James and you're watching my channel Cadroll Hunter, and I've had this bag of coins probably for a couple of months or longer now. I had a chance to pick it up and it's got some older stuff. It's mostly American and there's definitely some silver in here. I can see that. There's some 40% in here, but there's some 90%, some older stuff. I might have overpaid for this. I probably overpaid for this. I haven't looked through it yet, so I don't know for sure. But I bought everything for $100 Canadian. And so I figured we'd go through it and see how did I make out. I kind of think I might come out under on this one, but we won't know until we go through it. So I figure we may as well dump this out and sort it out and see what there is. There's some cool stuff in here though. Besides the silver, there are some older things in here that I probably don't have. Well, I figure we may as well do a little bit of dump out. It is not all silver, so it's not going to all sound like silver, but we're just going to come out with a thud. But there is some cool stuff in here, so I'm going to start sorting out, maybe pulling some stuff out and seeing what we've got here. Well, first things first, I did see something pretty chunky in here, so I'm going to take a look at that first. And it is an Ike dollar. And let's flip it over. And it looks like it's a proof. Look at that finish, but it's heavily tarnished. It's a 1971. And I think there is an S mint mark. And I'm wondering if this might be silver. I'm going to put it under the scope and take a peek. And then I'm going to have to look it up and see if they made any of these in silver. It's hard to say. So there's that 1971 under the scope. And when I look at it here, I can see that that tiny little mint mark is in fact an S. And my handy dandy red book here tells me that the 1971 S is silver clad. So essentially it's 40% silver. So that's good because I wasn't actually sure if I was getting silver out of that. And I'm just at the NGC website that basically helps me figure out what the melt value is. So it's a two-step process for me here in Canada. We've got $7.52 at the time of filming right now. And then I am using just Google here to tell me what that is. It's $1.37 Canadian for every dollar US. So that's about $10.31 here. So that's what I'm going to add to see how I did. Well, that's at least a tenth of the way there, and it's not a tenth of the coin. So hopefully we'll do better with the rest too. Now I want to get your input on something because I've been really thinking a lot about whether or not it would be interesting to do some videos on gasp cleaning coins. That's right, trying to get coins that look like this to look much better. I essentially got this for junk silver prices. It's probably a junk silver coin, but it looks terrible. I'm probably not going to want to flip that up and put it in my album, but I might be able to clean it and get it looking shiny again without potentially really damaging it, or at least not having any effect on the long-term value of this coin. It's obviously been stored in terrible conditions. So let me know what you think of that. Would you be interested? Do you think the internet would be interested in seeing videos where I clean a coin like this one? This looks to be a pretty good candidate because it's pretty chalky and grungy and grody. And I wonder if I can get this nice and bright and shiny because the little bits of the field I see on here tell me it's got a mirror finish. It's probably a beautiful coin underneath this layer of grodiness. Let me know what you think. Next thing I've done is pull out all of the half dollars here, and there are 6 40% half dollars. We got a 1965, a few 66, and a couple 67s. So that's cool. My calculations tell me those are about $4.83. Not about, probably exactly $4.83 Canadian. That's Canadian. So $3.52 in silver content each. So $4.83 there. There are a few 90% Kennedys, some 1964s. So those are going to be worth significantly more. So that's great. I'm going to add those to the tally. And then we've got a couple of Walking Liberty half dollars. We've got a 1941. We'll get a good look at this guy here. And if I flip it over, we'd be looking for the mint mark over here, and there is none. So that's a 1941 Philadelphia. And this is a 1944. It's actually in pretty good shape. Usually you'll see a lot of wear right along the center axis. That was the high point along the coin. And this one is a Denver. These are pretty circulated. I don't know if they have any sort of a premium over silver, so I'm only going to count the silver value, but these are ones I'll want to see if I actually have in my collection. I'm not certain if I do or not, but it's just cool finding some older American silver, including like Walking Liberty half dollars. And there were a couple of clad Kennedys. There's a bicentennial, and then there's a 1971. I had to look and see, was this actually silver or something like that? It's a Denver, so it's not. It's just a clad half dollar, and it's just really toned. It almost looks like it's missing that top coating of the of the nickel or whatever it is that gives it its silver color. It could very well have been dipped or treated in something to remove that, but either way, it's in pretty rough shape and it's just worth face value essentially. Plus the conversion, of course. So we're not done with US silver. There is a 1947. That one I believe is a Denver. When I flipped it over, I can see there's the D mint mark below the eagle. And a 1964, and if I flip this guy, no mint mark. So this is a 1964 Philadelphia, 90% silver, both of them. And a couple of 90% silver dimes. We got a 1957. If I flip this guy over, it's got the D mint mark. And this one here is a 1964. If I flip it, it is Philadelphia. So that's cool. More silver to add to the tally. And we're not done there because check it out. We got 3 silver war nickels. Really cool. All bearing the date 1943. This one's got a little bit of a different toning, almost a bit of a gold hue to it. But if I flip it over, we can see that P mint mark over Monticello. We'll see that on all of these guys. And these aren't in terrible shape compared to some of the war nickels that I see in some of the coin roll hunting videos online. They've actually got a pretty good amount of detail. That's pretty awesome. So I'll set these over aside here and we'll take a look through the rest of this stuff. Now we're getting into some older stuff. I think maybe we'll look at some of the international silver here first. All right, the first international silver we've got here is a 1955 1 gulden from the Netherlands. If I flip it over, you will see Juliana. And what's cool about this coin is that it actually has edge lettering that is not typical for this era or this period. And it says, God sie met ons, and I'm saying that totally wrong, but it means God be with us. So that's very cool. That is 72% silver. I think we would just consider the melt value of that for what I got it for here. And towards the determination of whether or not I got a good deal or not. This next one here, 50 piastres. République Libanaise. I'll have to look that up to find out exactly what this date is. It could be 1952. Also with Arabic dating as well. I'm going to look it up and just give me a second to see what this is all about. And once again, Numista to the rescue. This is from Lebanon. It is in fact from 1952. If I scroll down here, we can see that there are 7.2 million minted. And if I look up at the top here, it is 60% silver. So that's pretty cool. Now this next one is exceptionally cool. This is 500 lire from Italy. And you can see the boats on this side, I guess the reverse of the coin. If I flip it over, it is a gorgeous coin. What I can't see is the date, but it seems to be in pretty good condition. It's obviously got some circulation wear and some toning, but the detail on this is incredible. I'm going to put it under the scope so you can see all of these crests that are on here. So there it is. There is a woman pictured here, and it looks like it says Giampaoli. Lots of detail in her outfit, but also all these little crests and shields here with all of this detail. What I can't see is a date. And so I'm going to have to look this up. There's got to be something on here that I'm just missing to tell us when this coin is from. So I'm going to have to see if Numista can come to the rescue yet again. Okay, I figured it out, and I wasn't wrong. I could not find a date, but after just saying that edge lettering was uncommon at this time period, this coin has edge lettering. It says Repubblica Italiana, and then I'll flip it this way so we can read it. You should be able to see 1958 with those stars on either side. So a 1958, and this one, if we look at Numista, is 83.5% silver. That's cool. And it's a pretty hefty coin too. This one is an 11-gram coin. These next two are from Egypt, and they're like incredibly cool. Check this one out here with the Sphinx, and just pretty awesome. And it's got a really cool design on this side too, these two big wings. But seeing the Sphinx on a coin is pretty cool. We have to use Numista to find the date on these because I cannot read the Arabic script on here. But Numista is really helpful because it shows you what the script is in any different language that you can find on coins, so you can figure out what the year is. I'll pull this one up and we can look together. So there it is under the scope on the left, and when you look over at Numista, it tells you the years here. So 1375, 1376, that's 1956. And then over here, it shows you what letters you are looking at. And in this case, this one looks like a 7 and a V and maybe a backwards 7, sort of what they look like to me. But you can find those over here. So there it is. And except that mine is this one here on the bottom with the what looks like a 190V. And so we know without a doubt that our coin is the 1957, and this one here is 5 Kirsch, and it is 72% silver. And this next one we have here is also 5 Kirsch. It's a little bit newer than that one. And again, we'll use Numista to find the year on this one as well. So here it is again on the left-hand side, and over to the right, we can see again without a doubt, it's this one right here, and it's a 1960, also 72% silver. This next one is Egyptian. It is 10 Kirsch, so it's a bigger coin. And this one is from 1960. What's cool about this is that it's pretty low mintage. It's only minted at about 500,000, which is very low and pretty cool. And it's actually in pretty good condition, lots and lots of detail, except for some of this tarnishing, of course, that we can see on here. But the coin itself is in good condition. And the last of our silver, this is a 3 pence from Great Britain from 1897. It's going to feature Queen Victoria, and it's got a hole in it. We'll just count it for the melt value. I'm not going to subtract the little bit of silver that's missing there. Obviously pretty common that people hold these and wore them as necklaces for whatever reason. But I've got several of these in my collection. So I spoke too soon to say we were done with silver. This is another Egyptian coin. This is from 1944. It is 2 Kirsch, but it's actually 50% silver. And I just thought by the look of it, it was copper nickel or something like that. But it is in fact 50% silver, and that's cool. And speaking of cool, here's something I don't think I have in my collection at all. It's pretty toasty, but it's an 1856 featuring Napoleon III, Emperor of France. I flip it over, you can see there the French Empire, 5 centimes. It is the 1856B. Numista tells me this is the most common of the Napoleonic 5 centimes, but that's cool. It makes sense that we would find that one, but cool to have that one in my collection for sure. And very last of the international coins, we've got a 5 Reichspfennig. If I flip it over here, you'll see that swastika with the eagle. This is from 1941. This looks like it's a zinc coin. It's actually in pretty remarkable shape. The fields are pretty smooth. It looks like it might have been in the ground at some point, but that also could just be oxidation from this kind of coin. Oftentimes I find that the zinc coins from World War II era are very hard to read, very oxidized. So this one is actually in pretty remarkable condition from 1941. 41, a war coin from World War II. And this is the last of the coins on the mat here. We'll get to those in just a second. There's just one more coin to go through, and that is our lone sole Canadian. We've got a King George V nickel, a 1927. We'll flip that bad boy over, and there he is. And not in great shape. It's probably VG at best, maybe a GVG, somewhere in the middle there. But that's a cool 1927, almost 100-year-old Canadian nickel. Now we'll take a look at these bad boys here and see what we got. So we got 7 Buffalo nickels. 4 of them are completely dateless. You can see the field where the date is completely worn through. I'm not going to get a date off any of these. I don't have nick-a-date. I see people nick-a-date nickels to get a date. I don't have that, so I can't do it. Doesn't really matter. They're not worth a whole lot as they are, but they're pretty cool. We got one with a partial date. We could probably, if I worked really hard, I can see it's a 1920 something. I'll put it under the scope. We'll take a look. It could be a 25 or 26. It's hard to tell. And I'm not sure how much that helps. It's definitely a 19. There's a 2, and then that's where it gets pretty hard to tell. So it's a 1920 something. If I worked really hard, I might be able to figure it out. And this one also does not have a mint mark. We got 2 more that I can get dates off of. This one here is a 1923, and you can just see that 23 there, so that's cool. It's also a Philadelphia, and this last one is a Philadelphia as well, and this is the oldest of them, it seems anyhow, and it's a 1919, and it's in pretty decent shape. It's got a lot of detail. Flip it over. There's a little bit of the horn on that guy. No mint mark, a 1919 Philadelphia. Awesome. And we also got a handful of wheat cents. I think they're all pretty common dates, and they're not in great condition. There's a 36 and a 38, so we got some in the 30s. That's pretty cool. And then some pretty common ones from the 40s, 41 Denver, 46, another 46, and a couple very common ones from the 50s. There's a 1950D and a 1951D. And then we got some things that I think are pretty cool over here. Check this out. It is a United States large cent, and it's hold, but this is pretty cool. This is an 1854. There's Liberty right there. So it's too bad it's got a hole in it. It's in pretty rough shape. It looks like this could have been a metal detecting find. Who knows? But according to the Red Book, an 1854, even in a G4 condition, is $25. This isn't going to be graded a G4, but it's probably got some value. This might even hold like this be worth $5 or $10 for all I know. It's a really cool find. I've only got a couple of old American large cents, and I doubt I've got the 54, but that's pretty awesome. And very last, we've got a few Indian head cents, and these are really cool. So I don't know what the tally is as I'm filming. I'll put that all together when I do the editing. So if we're not yet close to the $100 mark for me to make my money back, or at least feel good about the deal, I think this might put us over or get us close anyway. Now, these first 2 are older, 1893 and an 1896. They're both pretty common, and they're not in great condition necessarily, but this last one is the newer of them, and I think this is the one that might do it. Check this out. It's a 1909. It is a last year Indian cent. This was a transition year. This was the first year of the Lincoln wheat cent, 1909 as well. Now, what we really want to do is check this, flip it over, and see if it might have an S mint mark, which would make it a pretty awesome find. And we would see it below the wreath there. We don't have it. So this is a 1909 Indian head cent in pretty good condition. I can still see some of Liberty on the headband. So let me take a closer look here. So we don't have great definition, but I can see some of the R, the T, and the Y here. So we've got some of that. It's actually still in pretty decent shape. And if I look in the Red Book for a 1909, even in a G4, they put it at a $12 US coin. In a VG8, it's a $15 coin. I'm not sure if it's quite a VG8, but that's a pretty good find and some good value. And I'm not sure how close we are, but maybe I just needed a bit of a nudge, and that might have given it to us. Well, that's it. Let me know how you think I did. You can see on screen how I thought I did as I was putting this together in the editing process, but let me know, would you have picked this up for $100? $100 Canadian, mind you, so even less in US. If you could even just see in the baggie the kinds of things that were here, some half dollars, at least $1, some older silver, some international stuff, and some older 1 and 5 cents from the States too. Myself, I'm pretty happy with it. It was tons of fun to go through and share this with you anyhow, regardless of the number at the bottom of the screen. But let me know how you think I did and if you think you might have done the same thing as I did. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, Cadroll Hunter, go ahead and do that. It's really easy. Just hit the button. You'll love it. Please give the video a like. You'll know when my next videos are coming up. That really helps me out a great deal. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. We'll see you again next time. The sponsors of today's video are Lighthouse Canada and the Charlton Press. Lighthouse Canada is the leading supplier of high-quality numismatic supplies in Canada, and the Charlton Press is the leading publisher of coin and paper money catalogs and price guides for Canadian collectors. Go check out their online stores today and use the exclusive discount code CRH20 for 20% off all your purchases.